Listen, welcome back to the LME live streams. We tried to do a couple of these movie logins yesterday, but we had a little bit of a glitchiness that we had going on. But welcome to the streams where we talk about all of the movies that came out in the most recent week. And it's the beginning of the year, so we really don't have a lot. We're still talking about the best of the year from the previous one, but we do have some of the best that's going to be coming out already with the Sundance Film Festival. So in case my internet is still laggy, because the Sundance tradition for us is that we are on the road. So sorry for a little bit of an echo or anything. But Zach and I want to talk about all the things that you need to know about the Sundance Film Festival first, because this bad boy is starting up literally right now. If you have a membership, $60. You can already get your passes, already get your tickets. Everything's open right now. So we're going to be giving you tips and tricks on what to get. For $65, not only do you get the chance to reserve your stuff right now, but you also get the chance to even get some extra perks, some discounts with all that stuff. If not, this Thursday is when the tickets are going to be going on sale. And we'll be talking about the program. We'll be talking about the tickets, all that stuff. So any questions that you guys have, let us know in the live chat right now. Shout out to everybody who is watching. But at the same time, you can also let us know down in the description, or sorry, the comments, tweet us, all this stuff, because this is the week. We always talk about Sundance, Zach, as like, oh, y'all guys need to watch this after Sundance is done. But now that we have the opportunity to catch all of this online, like there is no way that you can't go to the Sundance Film Festival. You can be there for $15. Literally, let me pull up over here the price of these tickets over here, which I think is the first thing we're going to break down. All right, Zach, Festival Pass. I think the first thing to break down is how the thing actually works. So passes, right. Then we're going to get into the schedule. Then we're going to get into our tips and tricks. So first and foremost, Zach knows this. We used to go to Sundance. I say we used to, like it's been years ago. But when you go to Sundance, this price right here that you're seeing, this is your airfare if you don't already live in Utah, you know? So this festival pass right here allows you, for the price of what have just been your travel, the ability to see all of the movies at the comfort of your own home. You buy this bad boy, you're able to just reserve anything that you need, all of these little reservations that I'm going to be showing in a bit. But this is the all-out pass. Of course, it's pretty expensive. But if you wanted to see your shorts, if you wanted to catch all of the award winners, like literally anything that you could possibly do with the online festival, this gives you complete access to it. We were able to get this one yesterday. So I can attest that it's like the easiest peasiest thing, especially if you got a membership right now, to be able to get anything you want. But of course, not everybody's going to want to drop $350, and that's why they have a little bit of a day pass. So what do you think about this one, Zach?
Well, especially with the way that Sundance is set up, where there are so many movies happening in a day. Like you can look at a certain day, like for example, the first Saturday, the 30th of the festival, where you can string together movies like Wild Indian, Passing Searchers, Coming Home in the Dark, and that makes a day pass like a pretty great investment. Pack in 4 or 5, maybe even 6 awesome movies.
Yep, for much low price. So if you find a day that you think is dope, literally go for that day. $75, you get to watch all the stuff there. If not, they're doing individual tickets. For those of you who don't know, at Sundance, those are $25 tickets to go in and watch a movie in a theater where you might get sick. $15, you get a Sundance movie in the comfort of your own couch, bro. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. That's dope. But on top of that, maybe you don't know what to look out for. We will be streaming, doing these LME streams, catching you up on everything that's going on. But the awards winners pass, I know, is something that a lot of our group is getting, because $100, our boys are even splitting it. They're all going 25, 25, 25. They're meeting up. And you get to see all of the award winners. So anything that gets the big prizes, like last year when Minari won, when some of our favorite world cinema, some of our favorite docs like Boy State won, you can catch all the greatest ones already right there for $100 on, I want to say it's February the 3rd. So this is also a really good pass to get.
And also it might even be worth keeping in mind, or might even worth mentioning for some of the people watching the live stream. Film Flick commented, "What are some of the best Sundance movies in recent memory?" And Sundance is a festival that launches a lot of really exciting, interesting movies, stuff that sometimes ends up competing at the Oscars, like Call Me by Your Name. Sometimes stuff that's just kind of fun diversions, like Palm Springs, which was at Sundance earlier this year. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, Minari, which you already mentioned, which were my number 1 and 2 favorites of the year.
You know?
A lot of really good movies, and it's also a festival that has launched the careers of several directors. People like Ryan Johnson, who debuted Brick there, or Kevin Smith, who debuted Clerks there. So it's a great chance to check in with some of the exciting indie cinema in the
Mm-hmm.
year.
We always talk about it every year. It's one of my favorite film festivals, and I'm glad that people now have the opportunity to go because that's one of the biggest things. It's very expensive to go to it, so this is a great opportunity to be able to watch from the comfort of your own home. And for the people who don't know about it, hey, this would be one of the best festivals to start off. Someone was asking, when is it going to be? The festival itself is January 28th to February 3rd, so you still got enough time. But the reason we're making this video is because tickets go on sale January 7th. So that's what we're breaking down for you guys right here. I already saw some people saying that the awards winners pass is probably the go-to one. I'd say that that's probably the best option out of all the ones that are right here. If you got the cash, drop the $350. You don't have to worry about scheduling anything really for the most part, as long as you get that pass and are able to reserve what you need. A day pass isn't that bad. The day Zach was talking about, I think you said it was that Saturday, they got a buttload of movies. So as long as you look through the program and you see what days got the best, boom. If you want to get some single tickets, we'll be talking about and logging on Letterboxd some of our favorites during the fest, so hopefully you guys will be able to catch them. Awards winners is the best. And they even have an Explorer Pass. One thing that they do at Sundance is that they have this VR segment called the New Frontier. And I didn't know how they were going to do that this year. Pretty much, they talked about this one where they just want you to get, just a $300 VR headset, and they'll stream the thing to your Oculus. So may not be for everybody, but hey, $25, that's pretty dope. I really like the New Frontier when we're over there, so that's a really cool thing to get as well. It's probably one of the cheaper ones, and it gives you a buttload of stuff. And the shorts, I know we're going to be talking about a lot of the feature films, but I don't know if you read the shorts, Zach. They are stacked this year. Really good.
I mean, they always have a really exciting selection. It's just, one of those things that's maybe not what you think about at 1st, but it's always worth checking out the shorts program.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions on the ticketing stuff, we broke it right here. Run it back. Hit us up on any questions that you have. We'll try to answer them for you. But that's pretty much the first step. You come over here and you decide which one do you want to get. Again, that's going to be this February the 7th, unless you pay for that membership. Then you can do it right now. As soon as this, actually pause this, go do it and snatch up your tickets right now. Because the next step is going to be this little schedule right here. Now, Zach just got off of an entire, what would you call it? They pretty much broke it down for you.
Yeah, so they did this nice thing, which was walk the press through the schedule and the back-end system, how to register for screenings and all that. And it was a nice chance to find out some more information about the film festival and what it's going to be like actually attending from our computers, because this is a festival that we've gone to in person. Me for the past 2 years, Art for several years now. I don't know how many even. So it's a tall task for a festival to completely reimagine themselves as a digital enterprise. And thus far, I think Sundance is doing it in some interesting ways, trying to bring the experience of going to Sundance, of trying to fit in several films in one day, of trying to catch up with a movie after you hear about the premiere. They're trying to replicate that as best as they can in an online format.
Yep. So, like Zach said, you don't have to go all the way to Sundance. It's just this little tab that's going to be in your computer, which is insane, but damn, I love it. So, let's break down how the schedule is going to work. So, one of the first things that they tell you to do, right, is to go and check these blocks. It's practically these 3-hour blocks that you see right here, right? So, you wouldn't be able to see all 3 of these, but you'd have to pick between Human Factors, President, Homeroom. And as long as you capture that one, then you'll be able to watch this next block of movies, which is here. So they're doing it by blocks, and the worry may be, well, what if I have 2 movies that are playing, right? What if I want to watch Strawberry Mansions and The Count of Three, like you see right here? Because they're in the same block, you won't be able to see it. You can see something from before, something from afterwards. But besides I want to call them premiere streaming, all right? This is the premiere of these movies, but online. They will then, on the following day, have these second screenings. And as you can see, it's blank right here. But all of these movies, 24 hours later, so technically not the 30th, but the 31st, you will see that all of those movies that I was just showing you in those blocks, as I pull it up right here, they are going to appear as the VOD screenings. So again, you have your Sundance online premieres, which are these little blocks right here. Sometimes you have something annoying as this. I know Zach caught this. See how Together is right in the middle? I don't know why they did this. It's just to like
Actually, Art, I've
talk
got an
about it.
exclusive update for
Give us the
the
exclusive.
live stream audience. I brought this up on the stream, and
Call 'em out.
Sundance said that was a mistake. They will be
Oh.
moving together into the correct time slot. So you don't have to sacrifice time
What?
slot 1 in order to watch together in time slot 2 anymore.
But I did. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Now I get to watch an extra one there. So again, that's a perfect example of we were not able to click anything in this first one right here that you see. The dogs wouldn't be quiet, Taming the Garden. This whole section is gone because I had Together. And it slipped right in here, and it slipped right in this one. So yeah, I was wondering what that was. I'm glad to know it was a glitch in the system.
Yeah.
But again, you won't be able to watch everything in the premieres, but that's okay because they're going to be doing second screenings. So all of those that I showed you 2 days prior on that schedule, they are all here for you to watch. These are not going to be in blocks of premieres. These are going to show up, 9 a.m., I want to say? And again, with your time zone, so definitely check on that. You will be able to check in to however many of these that you can. If you have a pass, you can get as many as you can to watch for the day. I believe they'll still be $15 a ticket as VOD. But if you have a press pass, if you have a day pass, these are other things that you will be able to get for that day. So remember, with one of those day passes, it's not just the schedule of streaming premieres that you get to see. Let me push this up. Someone was talking about the website being slow. Yeah, I really hope that it doesn't ruin a lot of the experience once you're watching the movies. It is a little bit of a glitchy system because you can't even like open up another tab. You see this? Like it won't let you open something else. And I know that has to do with the restrictions that they're doing with all the movies being online. But hopefully it doesn't glitch as much. But again, when you get a day pass, it's not just these streaming premieres. Pay attention to the movies that will be on demand that day because those you don't have to worry about a time slot. As long as you secure these in the morning, you're good to go. I don't know if you have anything else to add about the scheduling, Zach?
Well, I mean, just to back it up a little bit, Sir Crumb asked, is the award winner pass worth it? Again, the award winner pass for $100. You get access on February 3rd to those award winners. In some ways, it is worth it because award winners are typically some of the buzziest films coming out of Sundance. In past years, that's been movies like Me and You and Everyone We Know. This year, Minari was a big award winner. 2019, I think it was, we were less happy with the award winners. So if you don't know what movies to check out, the awards winners pass is good because you're getting stuff that somebody has declared worthy. But if you want to sample a wider variety of stuff, maybe a better deal would be get the day pass. It's a little bit cheaper, and then you have a little bit more options.
For sure. And we will be talking about some of our most anticipated in our tips and tricks, and of course keeping you updated during the fest. But I think it's I think this is the best bang for your buck, for sure. Let's see. In terms of the schedule, anything else to bring up?
So the schedule, there is an interesting thing in that it's divided into these different time slots, but not all of the movies are as long as the time slot is. In fact, a lot of the movies are around an hour and a half in a 3-hour slot.
You can see it
so
here.
Supposedly you can double up on a movie. It's just you have to start it during its premiere window, which is the dark red part of the window rather than the light red part of it.
Yep.
Now, Sundance has a thing where as long as you start a movie, you have 4 hours to finish that movie. So if you wanted to watch 2 movies that were during the same time slot, it's technically possible to start one movie, pause it, watch another movie, and then come back to the first movie as long as it's still in that 4-hour time window.
Okay. Oh, see, then at that point, if you were to get a pass, which again, I think the passes are the best bang for your bucks because you're not doing individual tickets. You are playing the game of, like what Zach just said, being able to fit as many as you can as long as they're available and as long as you have the time. So that's a good tip to have as a reminder. You also said that, like you said, you have 4 hours to watch it, but it will expire. Someone had asked right here. Let me pull them up. Nile said, "Can we save a movie with the award winner pass, like download it or something, so we can watch it later too?" I just brought up how glitchy the system is. I think they are going above and beyond, making sure that you can't download anything. Like Zach said, when you're watching one of the premieres, and I believe that's how the award pass is going to look like. The award pass is what day? I believe it's like the second,
February
right?
3rd, Wednesday.
Third.
I
Okay.
say.
So if I were to click that, it's going to be empty. But eventually, they're going to lay them out as winners in a schedule. So the same rules will apply, in my opinion, that you are going to only have 4 hours to watch it. So you will not be able to download it. You would have to watch it online because they do have precautions that they're doing, putting everything through the internet for the premiere. So no downloading there, but you will have 4 hours to watch. Let's see if somebody else had asked something. Busman said, "It might be good to start 2 movies in case the first one you picked is horrendous and you want to bail." That is an interesting perspective. I know they had hit you up about something. If you're not going to watch a movie, make sure you let it go because there still is limited spots. I've always talked about how the internet should give you free range, but nonetheless, there's still restrictions with these studios, and they do have a certain number of virtual seats.
Yeah, so that's something that we have been talking a little bit about in the chat that I don't know if we've mentioned yet. There is a capacity to these screenings. I know it's very weird to think about it since it's the internet and like what does capacity mean in a digital sense? But I think to preserve the sense of these being limited, the scarcity, obviously when things are rare, they become a little bit more in demand. They are putting a cap on the number of people who can watch any movie during a certain period. So if there is something you do want to watch, making sure you get that ticket early, or if you get a day pass, making sure that you reserve early in the day so that the movie doesn't fill up by the evening would probably be a smart strategy as well.
So good tips right there. Let's see. Someone had also asked, "Can 2 people use the same pass?" Zach has an answer to that.
So I believe 2 people can, although I know they are monitoring IP addresses to try and cut down on attempts at piracy and stuff like that. But 2 people cannot watch different movies at the same time with the same pass. They will block you out, and they might follow up with you. So don't try to share your login with somebody else and then go watch 2 different movies. That will get you in trouble and maybe, rob you of some of your money.
But do know that they are saying, get yourself a family pass. They said don't create a drive-in and play these movies, but to get as many people over, like we said, we have friends who are splitting that pass. One of the best things about this is that it may be $100 for the award winners pass, but it's cheaper the more people that you bring in who want to binge it for a day, If you guys all have a day where you know that you want something, it's even less. Split it however many ways that you have down to 75. Even a single ticket. Say there's one movie you guys want to watch. Make it a movie night. Everyone puts in $5, $2, whatever it is. So there's different ways around it to be able to get the best bang for your buck and to be able to watch movies with other people without having to pay multiple ones. But like Zach said, you cannot on a same pass watch 2 different movies at the same time. Yeah. You can split it, like have someone pick 3 o'clock movie, somebody else picks the 5 o'clock movie. So that is an option.
We have a couple people in the chat asking about international availability, whether or not they can watch something if they're not in the U.S. I believe most of the films in the festival are blocked to being U.S. only. However,
there are some, I hope.
There are some that I believe are available outside of the U.S. You might want to look up Sundance Global because they announced some sort of initiative towards that. The other idea is to go with a VPN of some kind. I know that's worked for us at other film festivals. I anticipate it should work for Sundance.
Let's hope, man. They go crazy with these VPNs. The technology that we have with VPNs, they're coming up with technology to get other stuff. It's like when they have the bulletproof shields. So then they got bullets that are piercing through those shields. So then you have to get, and it's like it's over and over and over again. So hopefully internationally you should be able to, because again, it's online like we're talking about. I don't see geo restrictions being beneficial in any way, shape, or form. But hey, that's how the studios work. But I know press, I believe, does get the ability to watch movies with no restrictions. So that's a pretty good thing to have. Someone had asked, the award winner pass is all VOD, right? There's no schedule. I believe there will still be a schedule, if I'm not mistaken. But it could also be VOD. Nonetheless, I would say the day of, definitely get there early, because I think the pass is going to work the same way. Where at 9 o'clock, you're going to have to decide which of the winners you want to see. And if somebody else beats you out to it, then you're going to have to probably be stuck watching another winner. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the capacities are. We've brought up in previous ones for the physical fest, they let you know how many seats are in each theater and your chances if you're able to get a wait list or not. We don't know the seats for the digital versions of it, so it should be elastic and it should be as many as you want, but not really. Gray on the Water has said, how on earth do you decide what to watch? I'd like to get a day pass, but I don't know how to decide which day. So as you can see right here, I'm going through the festival stuff. One of the things that I always suggest, they've always had the same categories. Look back at years past at the 10 that they've had for U.S. Dramatic and World Cinema and see which movies that you have caught from 2013, 14, 15, 16, and try to figure out what movies or what category tends to produce the movies you like the most. For example, I am always looking forward to every single U.S. Dramatic. I believe that they have some of the best ones. If you want something new and different, Next tends to do a lot of out there, crazy, different things from filmmaking. That's why they call it the Next category.
And to literalize it a little bit, U.S. Dramatic is the category that Minari was in, for example. So usually that's the category where you get the more intimate dramas, maybe the stuff that would later be competing for an Oscar. Next, the other category you mentioned, which is always an exciting one, is the category that featured Searching in the past, back when it was called Search. So it also has a movie this year called R#J, which is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet through smartphone technology. So it's movies that are kind of challenging the form of movies are in the next category. I believe that's also where Spree, the Joe Keery Uber slasher movie, was last year. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit pushing the boundaries, check out Next. If you're looking for something a little bit more traditionally emotive, maybe that's the dramatic categories. But Sundance has also got a whole selection of both U.S. and international documentaries too.
And like you said, there's always those ones that take place on the phone. They got Searchers this year about dating in New York during a pandemic, but they have a Romeo and Juliet 2020 adaptation that takes completely, the whole movie, I believe, is going to be on a cell phone. It's all going to be done through social media. So they're always trying to do something different with the next category. So go back, see which one stands out to you. But also, be on Twitter, be on Letterboxd. There's going to be people updating stuff just like we are, and just to see, because these are the premieres. We don't know what's going to be good, but we do have some anticipated that we're going to talk about right now as we wrap it up for our other films, tips, and tricks. Anything else to say about the scheduling or the blocks, be it with VOD?
I don't know how much more else there is. Obviously, if you're going to get one of the standard passes, I would say the thing is to prioritize scheduling movies that you want to see rather than waiting for the VOD. If it's something that you feel like you need to see it
Definitely.
at Sundance, try and get a ticket for the actual premiere, because the VODs are going to have limited capacity. And when I was on that Sundance Zoom call earlier, they were stressing over and over again that the VODs have a capacity that will probably get reached. So again, think of it like you don't want to lose your chance to see the movies you anticipate the most. Catch them early and then catch other stuff later.
So let's see. Someone said, what time will the passes be available tomorrow? They are available today and tomorrow if you have a membership fee. The memberships go up to like $1,000, but literally they have an individual one for $65. And while it is $65, you get to secure your stuff early. You do get 20% discounts on stuff from merch and different tickets. And when you're there physically and you're a member, they actually give you the ability to go to a free screening. We usually skip those because we probably already have something booked or the place is too far away. Hey, a free screening with a member's pass should be really dope. They usually give out like 3 of those. So when you really think about it, it kind of pays for itself to a degree. If not, it's going to be this Thursday. And just depending on your time zone, definitely recheck over here. I personally, my suggestion is, even if, let's say, the time is at 1 p.m. your time when the tickets are going to go on sale, I'm giving y'all a scoop. Check every hour. Check every hour. Try to secure your
Yeah.
pass, and then start picking and reserving your seats. Let's see. Someone else, I believe, had said, do you guys like going in blind or have some information about the film you're about to watch? I do have information that I go through them. I like to see previous shorts that they've worked on, which is the best thing about these. A lot of these films already have shorts that you can catch on YouTube. Some are even on Prime. So you can kind of get the feel of what the feature film is going to be off the short. And that's how I prioritize what I'm going to see first. Obviously, Zach and I have a cheat code since we do this every year, so we're trying to watch as many possible, pretty much to give you the suggestions of what the best of the best is. And like I said, we're going to wrap up by talking about some of the picks, but let me see what else somebody else has asked.
Just to run back to what Tommy said, there's so many movies at Sundance that I think at some point you kind of do go into a few movies blind, but in order to make your decisions, since we are trying to curate the festival and tell you guys all what the best movies are, we do try to go through those plot descriptions, check out the pictures. It's a limited bit of information. The best thing is once people start to get to see things, you hear chatter, you hear people comparing the movies to other movies, and then you can adjust your opinions afterwards. But you got to have a little bit of blind faith in a lot of these movies because these are all films that basically no one has seen except for The Night of Kings, which we definitely recommend.
It's one of the only spotlights. Vincenzo said, are you digging this virtual format over planning an actual trip around the festival? And that goes with what Zach was just saying. I love going to the festival. I'm going to miss meeting up with the whole Sundance crew that we usually have, but I love being able to watch all these movies at home, being able to stack them all on top of each other, not having to worry about going from one place to another. And even more so, one of the things that I love that we did last year with the virtual fest is that I could hop on this stream, tell y'all, go watch in the same breath. Do you want to know what you could do? You could hop on your own computer. You're already on it if you're watching us. And go watch the movie for yourself. We did that when we shouted out Shiva Baby, and it was dope to see people go watch it. That's the best thing about the online festival experience. I don't take that for granted. Of course, it doesn't take over being able to be at the actual location because I love Sundance, but I'm really excited for it. So this is definitely go ahead.
Not being able to go in person, it removes all the qualities of like a vacation or a trip that you get excited for. Obviously, it's a great chance. It's the one time of year that we are definitely going to be in the same place, so it's always fun to hang with Arturo and the gang. But yeah, it just removes all the stress of, am I going to make it from theater A to theater B in 15 minutes? Or am I going to miss this movie? It lets us focus
you booked
a little
the
bit
wrong
more
place
just on the movies.
Exactly, yeah. And you're not getting cold outside and worrying about were we the first to spread this pandemic while we were all in these theaters?
How many hours has it been since I ate? Yeah,
exactly. So I'm really looking forward to it. And as you can see right here, it's kind of the layout of what it's going to look for you guys. You pretty much will be able to, if you have a pass, click reserve and boom, it is yours. I highly recommend creating an account. It is free. A reminder, just because you are in the Sundance.org website. This will give you all the breakdown of what you need like it did in previous years, but you have to click on the ticket stuff, which then opens, as you can see. Let me try it, if you can catch that right there. See how it says Sundance.org? You want to be on their new virtual site. That's important because I think a lot of people are misconstruing that. That is festivalsundance.org. That's why this doesn't allow you to like open things in a different, it's all been curated to protect the movies and to give you the viewing experience, and hopefully it's not too glitchy, but create your account. Once your account is created, I'm on Alina's account right now because she purchased a membership, you are able to reserve everything that you need. Favorite all of your schedule so that everything will appear here and it's going to be the first to see. That way you're not scrolling all the way down and you may miss somebody getting the last ticket for something. This is the much better way to go. Make sure that you're prepped. A lot of people, and I've seen this, you're supposed to be picking your movies right now. Sometimes we'll show up to the festival and people bought a whole pass, never reserved their tickets. So please, please, please make sure you're on top of it, reserving your tickets. That's why we're doing this little live stream here, making sure that you guys are up to date. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's as simple as coming in to reserve. And to give you kind of a breakdown of what we were talking about, as you can see, the Street Gang one right here, we have a ticket for it. But if I were to get something, let's say, this one, it will replace whatever other ticket is in the way. And that goes for the same if you're trying to get it in the block that may spill into another block. So just make sure you have the schedule worked out well, and a reminder that you still have these on-demand movies. Let's see, these say premiere. These up here that don't give us the ability to, as you can see, these are the movies from the night, opening night. These opening night movies appear 2 days later on demand. All of these that you see here from this date, the 30th, will appear on demand the 1st. Boom. And the premiere ones from this one should appear the 3rd. So it's just getting used to that schedule. Of course, it's a little bit different, but I love it. To be honest with you, Zach, I've named one room my Sundance Eccles room. I named one of my other rooms the Mark. You know what? Make it a full experience and travel from each room as if they're different Sundance theaters and have it be a whole shebang. But I think that's the biggest breakdown we can give you. If it's still confusing, rewatch this or hit us up and let us know any other questions that you have. We'll be answering some more in the chat. But one of the big things that I want to talk about here is our picks. We have a couple of categories. I don't know if there's any other questions. If anybody else has a question, let's answer those before we...
Mercy asked, do you think it's worth it to grab a single film ticket as opposed to a day pass if you have limited time and only want to see a film or two? Yeah.
Yes.
So what is a film ticket? $15 and the day pass is $65?
Yeah, it's still half of what the day pass would have been. Day pass is a really good bang for your buck, but you're right. If you do not have the time to sit down and watch an entire day, then yeah, don't waste an extra $35. Just drop it for those two for sure. It says, does Visa work on their website? I believe it does.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Let's see. Ooh, Mariana. She says, so if it's not going to let you reserve multiple movies in the same block, how come they say you can watch multiple movies from the same block before the block window ends? Go ahead, Zach.
So, yeah, I was just on the Zoom call about this. If you have a pass, you can reserve your one movie, but then you can, quote-unquote, walk up to all the other movies. Mm-hmm. So let's say you have two different 90-minute movies. You watch the movie you reserve for 90 minutes. Then after that 90 minutes, you go to the second movie, and it will either say that the film is at capacity, or it'll say watch now, and then you can just start watching it now. Let's say even the movie runs an extra 30 minutes long, you're only 30 minutes into your next time slot, so it won't stop you from starting that next film. And also, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, once you start a movie at Sundance, you have 4 hours to finish that movie. So you could potentially start 2 movies from the same time slot, finish one of them, and then go back to your first one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to see if
more
they
of a
have
concern for people who have a pass, unless if you just buy a ticket.
If you've ever been to a film festival, this is what they would practically be the wait list. So to visualize what Zach was saying over here, it's just how it kind of wraps up. A little confusing at first, but once the screenings start, I'm assuming it's going to be a lot better. Hopefully the site is much faster for y'all. But as you could see, some of them don't wrap up the 5 hours. So right here, if you finish Romeo and Juliet, like Zach said, as soon as that one is done, you can technically see searchers if it's still available. So hopefully that answers that. Someone had asked how we pick our films, if there's no trailers. Again, that is the beauty of this festival, and that's why I love it so much. Every time we go, we are experiencing these for the first time. Like we always say, just sit down and not know anything about it. And now you can too. Like that's why I'm so excited for it to be online. What you can do though, click on the US Dramatic. And some of these actually do have a couple of things where they discuss it. So if I were to click Coda, they have a beautiful rundown. When it's playing, right? Everyone who's in it. And some of them even have a little meet the artist. I really like these. Not all of them have them. But when you click it, they sometimes even show you a little bit of the movie in the background. So boom, you have a little bit of the movie there. Because you won't see trailers. Hell, you won't even see posters for a lot of these. If you've ever covered film festivals, you're surprised that they want you to talk about the movies and they give you nothing. But some of these do have these cool little trailers, and I think that will really help you in knowing what to invest your money and time in. So definitely sit down with the program. Like we said, each category has different things going for it. But let's talk about our picks, all right? Yeah. Here are a couple of the ones that we are excited for the most. I want to give 2 for each category to give you guys something to look forward to, and even more so just the idea of what to have on your radar. Because again, I don't do a lot of anticipated lists because I am anticipating every single movie. I love being surprised. And we've mentioned how on the A to Z show, Let Me Explain, we have the entire lineup right here for you to pick and see. So if you're always interested in what anybody else is thinking, as soon as this movie premieres, you'll be able to see what people are saying, your friends are saying if they're there. So that's the cool thing about being able to have a full online experience, because you know that when you're still at a festival, we come out and we're on Twitter. So it's funny to say that we're still going to be on the exact same social media talking about these movies like we did when we were physically there. My top picks for U.S. dramatic. I'm really looking forward to this movie right here called Together Together. It's this comedy that really popped on my radar because the director talked about how, you know, she finally has a movie at Sundance. She was rejected. Her literal description was, I was rejected from Juilliard 3 times, but now I got a Sundance movie. So shout out that one. I'm really looking forward to that. But my highest, most anticipated movie from the dramatic, On the Count of Three. Gerard Carmichael is directing. They got some writers from Rami in this. The cast looks dope. This is my most anticipated, honestly, of the fest. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I don't know if you have any other stragglers, because again, the whole category is stacked, but those are my top 2.
Yeah, Garrett Vermont asked, is there a clear most anticipated film from Sundance? And
That
we are
one?
on a chat with Amanda the Jedi, who also goes to Sundance with us, and all 3 of us brought up that movie On the Count of Three. It's got a really intriguing, what's it called? The photo, the still that they show you,
Yeah.
with Christopher Abbott and Gerard Carmichael pointing guns at each other. It's got a plot line that is something about like a double suicide pact. It
It's
seems like
crazy.
a really interesting movie. Definitely the one that jumped out at me. And together to circle back to that one, I was also really interested in that one. It's got a really good cast of likable comedians, including Ed Helms, Patty Harrison, Tig Notaro, Fred Melamed. But it was also picked up by Bleecker Street just a couple of weeks ago. So this is one of the ones that we know will be getting some form of distribution out of Sundance.
And somebody asked us, are there any films that you already know will be on Netflix or HBO? One of the things that I want to work on this right here really quick is that you can add notes to this. So I do want to update this, hopefully by tonight, if not by the morning, definitely before the passes go on sale on Thursday, to let you know what is coming out. Because some of these already have premiere dates. Land is coming out February, you know?
Yep.
So it's like, do you really need to see this movie at Sundance, or can you just wait a week? Now, again, if you're really excited for it, catch it. But one of the best things about a film festival is catching a movie that isn't going to come out until way, way later in the year, like a Minari, or even more so, movies that may not even be coming out ever.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
think about it. Minari, we caught it a year ago at Sundance,
Yes,
and
sir.
that movie's still not out. It will be out in a month, but you know, it's still not out.
So that's always my suggestion. If the movie has a release date by April, I usually skip it and prefer something else. I may still watch it, but if I can pick something else, I will pick something else. But I will be updating these because someone had asked if some have been picked up by Netflix or HBO, and I'll be updating which ones have been picked up and which ones have release dates, hopefully very soon. I said U.S. dramatic. The world dramatic is stupid good. Prime time. Look at this poster. This is the story of, I don't know if it's a true story or not. It might as well be, considering all the craziness, in where the dude from Corpus Christi pulls like a heist at a news station. I am looking forward to this one. Oh, it looks so good. I'm excited for this one. Again, this is in the world dramatic. I'm excited for Human Factors. I think this one looks like it's going to be crazy. Again, some of these may be busts. I go in anticipating all of these, hoping for the best. This one looks like it's going to be great. It looks scary. It has some warnings, which, again, is really appreciated this year, that Sundance is giving you warnings. Not just MPAA stuff, but like literal things that you may be like, hey, maybe you don't want to see a dog blow up in this movie. They're letting you know ahead of time. Just like with this one, Pleasure, a movie that I know is based off of a short or has been adapted from a short. And they have straight up adult actresses in this movie. This looks like what Mope from a couple years ago should have been. Really excited for this one in the world dramatic. Hive, as you can see right here, dope poster. But dude, one for the road. My second most anticipated from the fest. A movie that is produced by Wong Kar-wai. with a
Yeah.
storyline that looks insane about two friends. I believe one of them is dying and he wants his buddy to go reach out to all of his exes. My second most anticipated of the fest. Really looking forward to this one right here. And all of these that we just brought up. World dramatic may be even stronger than U.S. dramatic. I'm not going to lie. But those are a couple of good ones right there. Looking forward to getting surprised. Out of the docs, I'm looking forward to the Rita Moreno one.
Right.
Hopefully, yeah. I believe this one is a TV movie, so it may be picked up by a channel. That's usually an inclination that they have there. But, this is an EGOT winner. Oh, I can't wait to hear her story. As well as Flea, another documentary I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Dude, you know about this one?
I mean, it looks really intriguing anytime that you tell me it's a documentary and I
Yes,
see
sir.
an animated still. It's like, all right, what's going on here?
It looks dope. Yeah, so I'm really excited for this one as well. It looks like a very powerful story. Those are my top two docs. But premieres, for those who don't know, the premiere category is pretty much big movies that have already been picked up. Like, they will be released. They just get their premieres at Sundance. How It Ends, one of my most anticipated as well, because it stars Zoe Lister-Jones. Her husband is directing, and she got, Zoe just did The Craft remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. She had Kaylee as her lead, and now she has Kaylee playing a younger version of herself during an apocalypse. My most anticipated from the premieres, definitely in my top 5 that I'm looking forward to.
It's got some other good actors. It's got some other good actors in it too. Helen Hunt, Fred Armisen, Lamorne Morris from New Girl. So yeah, I think that's going to be one of the more exciting ones from the festival. It's definitely one of my highlights on my schedule.
Fred was so funny in her movie Band-Aid. That's one of the main reasons I'm looking forward to this one. As well as 8 for Silver. Sean Ellis, he did a movie way back in the day when I did one of my early must-watch wrap-up monthly things. Back in 2013 on the A to Z show. This was one of the first small movies that I had seen. So when I saw that the dude from Metro Manila, like this is one of those like weird movies that just mean something to me because it was one of my first monthly wrap-up stuff. He's got a follow-up over here at Sundance. I think it looks really engaging. It's a horror film in the premiere section that he wrote and directed. Looking forward to that one. As well as The Return? Is he back? Ben Wheatley with a new movie. I know not everyone's a fan of this man. Even the fans of this man were a little upset with his previous one, Rebecca. But he's coming back with, I would say, like an ode. Not even an ode, but back to his original style in this like otherworldly horror movie that is about a virus. So that one should be interesting. I know a lot of people are also excited for Prisoners of the Ghostland and the Sparks Brothers, which is, again, Prisoners of the Ghostland is the movie starring Nick Cage. Man's always got a movie that comes out at the festival. And then the Sparks Brothers is a documentary premiere directed by Edgar Wright. You cannot not be excited about that. I don't know if there's any other premieres that stood out to you, Zach.
Oh, well, there's a few here and there. Did you talk about Cryptozoo at all? Because
I know
I'm
that's
coming
one
next.
that
You bought a ticket for.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we're just going to premieres category. See, that's the confusing thing with when you name your category premiere. But technically every movie that is in the festival is a premiere.
That was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that you knew that just because there is an online premiere, there's still a category called premieres. But I love that you said what's next. What's next is Cryptozoo.
Well, no, I'm going to shout out before we skip over the entire premieres category. Mass, the directorial debut of one Fran Kranz. This is a movie with a pretty interesting premise in that it's about a pair of parents meeting after a violent tragedy. There's a little bit more in the Sundance description, but I like how vague the IMDb plot description keeps it. Got a bunch of good actors, including Jason Isaacs and Ann Dowd, Martha Plimpton. So it's always interesting to me when a person who's so well established as an actor like Fran Kranz decides to take on writing and directing. This is his feature debut. He doesn't even have any shorts listed on IMDb.
This dude?
Mr. Hero Cabin in the Woods, yeah.
The dude who put out a bong and then turned it into like a traveler mug and cabin?
Yep, he's directing a very serious sounding Sundance drama.
I am intrigued. Okay, that sounds dope. That sounds really cool. Interesting. All right. Let's see. Any other premieres? Are you ready to go on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go on to the next.
Let's go on to the next category, which is called the next category, Cryptozoo. I bought a ticket for this, and I bought a ticket for one on the count of three. The next category is hit or miss for me, but that's also what I love about it. It's because they're taking risks with it. I may hate this movie, but I am so intrigued about this movie because it's about these, like, what is it, digital creatures practically? Like, I don't know if you know more about this movie at all, but it's got a stacked cast as well.
Yeah, not really. It's the latest film directed by Dash Shaw, who's got a very particular animation style. I saw his previous film, My Entire High School Sinking into the Sea, and it's this very, like, sketchy, hand-drawn style, but there's a humorous quality to it that works really well when you have a voice cast that features people like Lake Bell, Jason Schwartzman, Michael Cera. I'm intrigued by this one, even though I didn't love the last movie he did. The premise is about these crypto zookeepers who try to catch a dream-eating hybrid creature. Like, what even is that?
What does that even mean?
Make that a movie? I want to find out.
That's why it's in the next category. Another one that I'm excited for the next category, Strawberry Mansions. It's a future where everybody has their dreams online and they get taxed for their thoughts. Woo! I really hope this one hits. It sounds imaginative. It sounds crazy. It sounds like exactly what you want to see in this category right here. Super excited for that one, as well as Sons of Monarch. I know this one played at a couple places because there's already a couple of reviews for this. I believe maybe it played at a couple of other festivals. This one's about, like, these majestic butterflies in Michoacan. I think the poster looks dope. Very excited to catch Sons of Monarchs, Strawberry Mansions, and Cryptozoo from the next category. I don't know if you had anything else from the next category you're interested in. We had mentioned the Romeo and Juliet, someone had said on TikTok, movie that will be coming out.
The R#J is another one.
Yep.
The one that I was most intrigued by is a documentary that's in the next category, because usually we only get the fiction films in next, but Searchers, which is a story about New Yorkers navigating different dating apps. So kind of curious how that one's going to come together. It says it's alternately humorous and touching. Could be interesting.
Could be. Remember we talked about how we're going to get a Sundance that's just going to be quarantine movies? I will say this. We only got a couple.
Yeah.
But 2022 is probably just going to be everything indoors now that you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wrap it up with the midnight picks. Like we said, so far we had On the Count of Three, Together from our U.S. Dramatic. The World Dramatic is stacked. Primetime, Human Factors, Pleasure, Hive, One for the Road. Docs, we got the Rita Moreno doc. We got Flea. Premieres, we have How It Ends, Eight for Silver, In the Earth. Next, Cryptozoo, Strawberry Mansion, Sons of Monarch. Midnight has two horror movies I'm really looking forward to. There's this one called Censor, about a film censor, literally the person who censors things in movies. And I guess she ends up in her own horror movie. This looks like it's going to be a blast. I'm really excited for this one. It was at the top of my horror picks from the midnight category, which tends to go all out many times, as well as Knocking. Look at this poster, Zach. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That automatically made it to the top. It's about a woman who hears all this knocking. What is it? Find out when the film comes out in the comfort of your own home. So Censored, Knocking, those are some of my favorites from there. Like I said, we have the entire list over at the A to Z show. Was there any midnights that stood out to you?
I think it's Belgian film, Mother Schmuckers, seemed kind of fun. About two brothers who lose their beloved dog and have 24 hours to find it. It seems just kind of like a silly movie. The midnight category, it's got a bunch of horror, but it also sometimes has these strange, bizarre, occasionally vulgar comedies, stuff like Swiss Army Man or The Death of Dick Long that we've seen in the past. So I was curious about Mother Schmuckers.
Let me know, Zach. Let me know. But yeah, we have plenty of picks. Like I said, if you have any questions dealing with the Sundance movies, we'll be updating our recommendations as much as we can on this list. We're going to be letting you know what has been picked up, what has a very close release date. So you could probably wait on that and not have to worry too much about it. But any questions on the schedule in and of itself, trying to get tickets. Again, we're doing this stream right now because no reason to do it afterwards. I want y'all to go to the one film festival that you can watch from the comfort of your own home, and it just so happens to be my favorite, Sundance. You can catch everything from home like we broke down by getting a pass. Doesn't have to be the $350 one. Get a day one. Get $15 tickets if you'd like. I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to be here helping you guys out to answer any questions that you guys have. So with that... if anybody has no more questions on Sundance, let's log some of the movies that actually came out this year. Anything else to add for Sundance that you think the people should know?
Not much else for Sundance. Hermela did ask us which other virtual film festivals would you recommend this year. Maybe if you don't want to go to Sundance or don't have the financial means necessary this month for Sundance, there will be other festivals throughout the year. It'll be interesting as society returns to some version of normalcy, how much of the fall film festivals, stuff like TIFF, stuff like Fantasia Fest even that we've done, whether or not they'll continue in a virtual format. But we do know that there is a virtual South by Southwest happening this year.
Yep.
And I think the passes for that right now are around $200, which is more than Sundance, but I think you'll get a little bit more to do at South by Southwest. And South by Southwest traditionally has a little bit more in terms of comedy, a little bit more in terms of crowd-pleasing movies. If maybe some of these movies sound a little bit above your, or maybe not above, like not to your tastes, I would definitely check out South by Southwest. And then just keep in mind your local film festival, because a lot of the local film societies are trying to scrape by and do what they can. And I know this year stuff like Montclair and Philly, which don't get a lot of the premieres, they got a lot of great second run movies. All these movies that we loved out of Sundance ended up popping up at those smaller festivals. So look what's in your area. That might be the best way to get a good deal.
Another thing to bring up as well was this idea that Sundance will be doing virtual screenings at some places, or not virtual screenings, but you can actually go. So like you had mentioned, smaller film festivals, I know like New Orleans, they will be playing some stuff through these satellite screenings. So I believe there'll be drive-ins, maybe it'll be some theaters that are social distancing, but keep that on the radar. Zach had mentioned South by. Hey, if you listen to these streams, we keep you updated. South by does it a little bit different than what we talked about this year. South by sells you one pass, and then it's a free-for-all, trying to get as many movies. The pass was $150 when we brought it up last month. With South by, it's early bird gets the worm. Now it's $199, and the closer we get to March, as you see, it's going to grow all the way to $399. So you missed the $149 that we had talked about. Try to still get the $199. Even more than that, Slam Dance is going to be right after.
Right.
As you can see, February 12th to the 25th, Sundance ends, the 3rd, 4th? So right after that, this is a little film festival, the true independent film festival that always plays right there with Sundance in the same hill. And they've pushed it a little bit. But, dude, we talked about this. They were completely free. $0. All you had to do was listen to LME streams, and you could have literally gotten the entire lineup for free. Like, they're going to be streaming it online. It was $0. Now it's $10. Still not bad. They tend to have a lot of really good movies. I really like Slam Dance, so definitely check that one out as well. Because, again, $10 for an entire film festival. Definitely hop on South by. But like Zach said, the local ones. Nothing better than capturing some of the local stuff, especially because a lot of those are in the fall and more so in the spring. So you have plenty of time to look out for that stuff and hear what people are buzzing about.
Ismail in the chat also mentioned Hijo de Monarcas, that's Son of the Monarchs, that you were just talking about a few minutes ago, as one of your anticipated. So yeah, that's on our radar too. We want to check that one out. SLDY93 in the chat said, I don't know, last year South by Southwest
right.
Amazon things were horrible.
They were.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Because I feel like this is going to go differently.
I think it's going to be different because this time they're actually announcing it. They were just scraping by on the last one. So I think this time around, South by will actually know what they're doing. But I agree 100% with you. It was
It was
Terrible.
very last minute last year.
It was so yeah,
You
because
know,
they got hit. They were the first film festival to get canceled. I had plans to go to South by, and then turned on the news, and I did not have plans to go to South by. So yeah, I'm hoping that because they were hit immediately, they had to react like that. And I know a lot of people lost a lot of jobs and stuff because of the way that it's set up. I think this year they'll have actually something that works well, because you have to remember South by is
yeah,
also a tech festival. They're a music
right.
festival. Like they know what they're doing. So I'm hoping that they don't drop the ball now that they've had enough time
The
to
other
prep.
Exactly. The other thing I'd say about South by is because of their timing, they were the ones who went first. They were the first
Mm-hmm.
people to transition to a virtual film festival format. And now that TIFF has done it, now that every regional festival is doing it, now that Sundance has done it, there's an example that's been set. So I think that should bode well for this upcoming year of Sundance. Gray
Agreed.
on the Water in the chat asked, if I'm going to splurge on an online film festival pass, which one is worth it? Sundance, TIFF, South
All right.
by
Gray on the Water
Southwest?
said splurge. All right. So emphasis on that. If that's the way you're approaching it. TIFF, to be honest with you. I love Sundance. And Sundance is up there. To be honest with you, I'd pick Sundance, but TIFF at least will be playing the movies that for the most part, 70 to 80, right, Zach? Percent of those are
Mm-hmm.
going to be award contenders because that comes
Yeah.
out in September. Nonetheless, though, Sundance, shoot, 2, 3 of those movies always end up on my top 10. So it's just up to you if you're looking more forward to independent movies that I think will last in your heart. Sundance. If you're looking for the award contenders, TIFF is stacked. I honestly think it's the best film festival to splurge on a
Yeah.
full out pass for.
Did you do any TIFF screenings last year?
None. They told us they didn't want us there, so we didn't do we didn't do a single
Yeah.
thing. I couldn't even
That's
purchase
the
them because I needed a Canadian credit card.
Exactly. That's the only thing. If you're talking about the online film festival, I don't know if TIFF is the one I'd choose because they seem to have some
Mm,
issues accepting, at least I don't know if you're in America or not, but there's some issues if you're in America trying to go to the fest, some issues on availability of certain movies. If you're in America, it might be a better deal to go with the Sundance Online Film Festival. But if we're talking about when things are back to normal and we can go physically to a film festival, yeah, I am 1,000% with you. Go to TIFF.
easily. All right. If more questions compile, we'll wrap it up with that. But let's log a couple of these movies that we got shut out with yesterday because the
Yeah.
computer, my internet service just died on it. But hey, I'm glad that we were able to get everything with no buffer and we got the video out to answer some of the questions. Some VODs this week. Just wrapping up, yesterday we talked about Shadow in the Cloud, a new little action movie, the first 2021 movie that I was able to catch this year. I know it played at TIFF. So it's terrible that we just said definitely go to TIFF. It's not a great movie. Every year these festivals are also, they need to sustain, and they are picking up what would kind of be a theatrical studio movie. And this one was okay, taking place in World War II, kind of like a bottle film starring Chloe Grace Moretz, as she may not fit in with the rest of the guys because they don't think that she has what it takes. But it's also a CGI action thriller because there may or may not be some Kremlin-like demons that are in there. There's a bit in the trailer that's so goofy, it caught me off guard in the movie. Watch the trailer and look for that explosion at the end. If that still makes you interested, then go ahead and catch it. I didn't think it was too bad. I like what the director had said about why she had made the movie. That's a little bit more of a spoiler. I don't recommend it. To me, it's a stream it, but it's out on VOD right now to rent or to purchase. Hunter x Hunter, though, I think is worth the stream it. Or, sorry, worth the rent it. This was hyped up a lot last year. We were talking about it before we got cut off about this family where they're fur trappers, which editing the first cow video right now, I'm like, damn, they're still doing that this year. But it's got this really cool mythology in where obviously they assume that there's another wolf that is on the hunt because a lot of their stock is getting killed. So they think that they need to go kill a wolf, but it may or may not be a wolf, and it may be another hunter. Some dumb character decisions happen here and there in this movie, and you're like, okay, we're just not going to use logic. If it wasn't for that, it would probably be a little higher, but I know what they're banking on is that ending, dude. I bought this movie,
Right.
Zach. When you get the chance to catch it, watch it, because there is an ending in this movie where they're like, okay, I see what you guys were building up for. This would be a perfect midnight movie with a crowd, for sure.
Yeah, I've heard that final like 20 minutes or so
Mm-hmm.
are crazy. I also heard this other thing on Twitter. I'm curious your thoughts on it.
What's up?
Somebody suggested that if Hunter x Hunter was an A24 movie, it would be on a bunch of best of lists last year. What do you
Dude,
think?
oh, you and I talk about that all the time. I think, again, if they would have just had to fix the characters. Like, some characters make really, really dumb decisions that I don't think I've seen in an A24 movie. But yes, if this was an A24 movie, IFC, I don't know what the company is who picked it up. Yeah, it definitely would have. Neon picked it up easily. I think that um, a lot of people give prestige to the company more so than the filmmaker for sure. So I liked it. It was anticipated a lot. I thought it was a pretty good thriller. Put it on your radar. I'd give it a rent it. Netflix this week didn't have too much, but they did have this short called Cops and Robbers that I found really interesting because it's spoken word, but it's also animation. And it's not just live action, a little bit animation. No, it's live action and like 13 different styles of animation. They hired a bunch of animators to come in and actually make different like styles. So it'll go from what would be like a 2D animation to a 3D animation to sketch animation to, oh, look, they're talking about not necessarily VR, but like the coded bias side of it. And now he is just this virtual black face. And it's the different animations that aren't just intriguing and fascinating to look at, but it's also what they represent. Yeah, there was this one that was like a sketch, and I was like, dang, that it reminded me of like the witness drawings. And I was like, yo, I thought it was a really interesting short. It's only 7 minutes long, and honestly, a majority of it is the credits because they're just shouting out all of the different animators that they brought in to do the different 10 to 15-second segments. So, cool little short that's up on Netflix. Check that one out if you're curious. The Minimalist. A lot of people were talking about this. A lot of people were recommending it. It's like, what do you think about the Minimalist? The Minimalist. The Minimalist. If you're a minimalist, why are you making sequels? Why are you making sequels to movies? If you're a minimalist, just keep it at one. I don't think it's a bad documentary. I'm always for not hoarding and having stuff that you are putting sentimental value to when it should be on other things. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird to. It felt derivative, and then when I realized that the movie had already been made before, I realized why. But The Minimalist, it's out there. It's not even an hour long. Catch it if you are interested. I don't know if you've ever checked out these guys. I know they're a part of the whole minimalist movement. But it was okay.
Interesting.
Okay, little doc. Prime has two decent things that were out. We talked about Death of 2020, which had funny lines, didn't fully do it for me. That one definitely had a budget, and they used it all on their stars. Yearly Departed has a bunch of comedians that come in, and they're practically doing stand-up. And I think the worst part about it, I do like it, but the worst part about it is that it should have just been stand-up, but it's a little scripted. We were just talking about how Sundance has Together. She is in Together. She was also in, what's the Netflix one we like?
I Think You Should Leave. Yeah, that's Patty Harrison.
Oh, dude, she did something in that. And I was like, okay, the performance is great, but like she's so committed to it. It's so awkward.
Yeah.
And it's just winning me over every time I see her in something. And catching her in this is what put Together over the edge for me to get it at Sundance. Yep. Again, I really like the bits that they do. Just like Death of 2020, they're coming up and they're discussing something that died in 2020 and giving it a eulogy. The only thing that takes away from it is that they shot this green screened. So like she's not really there and they're not really sitting together. And I found that kind of pointless because then in other times they are there because it's a multi-day shoot. So sometimes they do see each other, sometimes they don't. But again, the worst part about really good comedy with really great comedians is when you make it feel scripted, and especially the reactions. And I was like, that's just taken away from it. They have funny bits, but let them be. Let them say their stuff. And it's very short. It's 44 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, a lot of really funny people in it. A lot of people that I like, and I like that it's also a mix of some more established people like a Tiffany Haddish or Sarah Silverman, and then maybe some newer faces like Z-Way is in there.
Dude,
and as we mentioned, Patty Harrison.
She was funny. I don't know too much about her. She's hilarious.
I mean, she's getting her own Showtime show, so
dude,
gotta get more of that.
Yeah, hop on that, dude. She is fantastic. She's got a future.
Yeah, I mean, Faded was one of the best things of 2020, so definitely she's got a future.
I got to catch up. I don't know if you ever caught this one, Blackbird. I was able to catch this on VOD, and I thought it was worth the rent it, but hey, now that it's on streaming, it is available on Amazon Prime. At least it should be. It's not appearing here on the Just Watch, but it kind of reminds me of what happened with the HBO one, where it was, then it wasn't, then it was. This is a movie starring a pretty stacked cast. Susan Sarandon is the mother figure, and she is terminally ill and may be spending her final days by her own choice. So she has invited her entire family over. Her entire family just so happens to be freaking Kate Winslet, you know? And it becomes this really big family drama in where they're all like against the decision she's trying to make because she wants to make a certain decision before her condition gets worse. I've been seeing a couple of movies that discuss this type of scenario, but the movie is these two right here. It's the two sisters who are just going at each other, Kate Winslet and Mia Wasikowska. I didn't think it was fantastic, but the performances are there, and I think that's why I had given it 3.5 stars. So if you're interested in a family drama, Blackbird. It's up on Netflix, up on Prime. I had given it a worthy of a rent it, and it's now on streaming. So if you're curious, check it out. A little melodramatic here and there, though. One that I thought had one of the best performances of the year at TIFF, 2019. Was Annette Bening in Hope Gap. You were telling me if Hunter x Hunter was done by somebody else, would they have loved it? Bro, this movie comes from the writer-director William Nicholson. Let me see, I'll open up the IMDb. He had already made this into a play. When he made this into a play, it had won a bunch of awards. It had gotten nominated as well. Let me pull up here who I had. The play was called The Retreat from Moscow, and Eileen Atkins picked up a Tony Award for this, right? So it's like clearly the character is written, even John Lithgow was in it, clearly the character is written to be like an awards-worthy performance. I thought she killed it in this movie. It got deaded at TIFF. People were like, it's okay. It seems a little melodramatic. You know what the story is? It's Billy's story of his mom and dad after 30-something years, I think 33 years, they divorced. In the movie, same thing. Couple's been together for 29 years, they divorce. And what happens when you have that? There is a perfect line in this movie where someone goes, I thought there was 2 unhappy people in no relationship, so I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but I realized there's only one unhappy soul. It's in the trailer. It is just a great back and forth between these actors. Bill Nye does a great job, but I was honestly really disappointed that Annette Bening didn't get her due because I thought she killed it in this performance, but just went under the radar. I mean, it came out last year. No one even knew that, but it's up on Hulu and Prime now. I would highly recommend it for her performance.
Very cool.
Our last 3 were from HBO. I wanted to give a quick shout out to this little short called Little con Lili. A little cheesy. The acting isn't great, but I feel this is one of those shorts. It's up on HBO that it may be adapted into a feature. I feel. I saw some of the IMDb's pop up again because this was a short from 2018. It's appearing as a 2020 here, but 2021 on HBO when you search it up. But a lot of it comes off as in development as well. So all I'm saying is I've seen this happen before. There is a chance this gets adapted into something bigger. It's a cute little story about this girl who's at home while her mom's out at work. The mom story is pretty interesting, but it's the little girl jamming out to Air Supply. I don't know how they got the rights to Air Supply, but it's her having to clean up everything before her mom gets home. And I could see this actually being a cute little Sundance U.S. dramatic pick. So if it is, I'm calling it right now. It's an okay short, though. I'm hoping they flesh it out. And then just some shout-outs over here to new HBO picks that are out. Weathering with You. I was telling Zach, I just ordered the $75 collector's edition because it comes with a whole making of all these different things. And boom, it's out online right now. I've been working on a video for this since I caught it at TIFF way back when. This is the follow-up to Makoto Shinkai's Your Name, which is one of the highest-grossing animes of all time, surpassed Spirited Away. Again, I'm going to have a whole video on this, and like I said, I ordered the whole special collector's edition because he's got a book. It's a whole book, a documentary, a poster. He may even send you the powers to control the weather. I didn't think it was as great as Your Name, but he does something ballsy with this. That, considering the times we're living in, I'm surprised he went there. He was unabashedly on it. I don't know if you caught this one, Zach, but again, it's available on HBO.
I've heard nothing but great things. Basically, anybody who sees this movie goes on and recommends it to people, so I'll have to catch up as well.
Yeah, so catch this one. It was also really cool that this is the first anime that was released theatrically in India to this caliber, and he went out there and he did a whole press run. So he's onto it. Makoto Shinkai, he deserves like a whole video breakdown because this man, he wants to be Pixar. Like he doesn't want to create another Pixar. He wants to be the whole thing. Very ambitious man. And let's wrap it up with the high note, which is technically a low note for us over here. We talked about this over on Inchicut a while back. This was one that I would have given a stream it to. Some people may like this as a rent it. It's available to stream on HBO Max now. We enjoy the cast. It's an interesting story. Talk about it, Zach.
Yeah, it's this story. Assistant played by Dakota Johnson to a famous pop star, and her aspirations of becoming a music producer herself, she sort of becomes really involved in the life of the pop star played by Tracy Ellis Ross while developing music with an upcoming singer who I didn't realize until way late in this movie is Kelvin Harrison Jr. because that man puts on a little bit of facial hair and for all I know turns into a completely different human being. Did not know he could sing as well. That was a nice revelation. But yeah, I mean, this is like a pretty plays it safe light drama about sort of that period where you feel like you're stuck in a rut and trying to get something more. It's pleasant enough, but I didn't think the romance was romantic enough, the comedy was funny enough, the drama was intriguing enough to really put this one over the top. And then it has this like late in the movie twist that came out of nowhere. It's not a movie. Usually a movie has some kind of indication either from its tone or they're hinting that there's some kind of twist coming. There was no suggestion that they were going to flip the movie on its head, especially as late as they do. It kind of worked on me, even though I wasn't a huge fan of the movie.
Exactly. It's why I had to bring it up. There's always going to be those stragglers, that come in. What I gave it 2.5, you gave it 2. That's the thing about movies, man. It's like some of them will still stick with you because it's like you tried something. I don't love it,
yeah,
but you tried something. It was a little surprising. It's available on HBO Max, and I think that's the perfect place to catch it. Let us know your thoughts on those and any of the other ones that we covered over here. My pick for this week, definitely Hope Gap. It's up on Prime. I definitely think her performance was a standout. Definitely check that one out. Good short on Netflix called Cops and Robbers. And Hunter x Hunter. For most, I'd say a stream it because the characters do some dumb decisions, but it is available to buy and rent right now, and I know a lot of people hyped this one up from last year, so that one's out as well. But let us know any of your other thoughts, any other movies that you are excited for. Again, this is the beginning of the week. You're not going to see a list like this for a long time that's this short. With all the streaming services that are coming out for 2021, we will be doing these streams weekly like we've been doing, and also catching you up on everything else. We have Sundance coming up, and we'll be doing LME streams, catching you up on everything that will be appearing there, like we talked about today. Any questions that you guys have, hit us up, and we're going to try to answer them to give you guys the best possible Sundance experience. I love that it's online. I'm excited for everyone to just be able to experience it together.
And hey, look, we do these Monday live streams, so on Monday, February 1st, we'll be in the thick of Sundance with 2 days left to stream some stuff on demand, and we'll give you some updates as to what our favorites are of the fest, what stuff you have to check out. So if you need some recommendations during the festival, make sure to be back here with us on Monday, February 1st, where we break down some bits of Sundance.
Yes, sir. The final question for today comes from, can you explain what exactly a day pass is? Also, how much long do you get to watch the movies, and does it have to be watched in a specific time frame? Like we brought up earlier, just as long as you get a day pass for a day that has a whole schedule breakdown, make sure that you get the pass for that day, that you have everything checked out for you in terms of when those movies are going to play. You only get them for 4 hours, but the VODs should be available throughout. Hopefully that helps. It's really just all about making sure that you're on there on time on the 7th, making sure that you know the movies, so definitely read over the program, and then just pay attention to what everybody else is saying. And I think that the Online Fest is going to be a great way for more discussions about movies and just the ability to have more people watch it just in general. So I'm excited for it. There's no really wrong way to do the fest, but you learn as you go. So shout out to everybody who joined us today. You got final thoughts?
No, I mean, I was gonna say, if you want to really give yourself the festival experience the way that we do it, block out a whole day and
Mm-hmm.
purchase that day pass and just plant yourself on the couch, get your snacks and stuff. Because like, what sometimes is fun about Sundance is forcing yourself to watch a bunch of movies in one day, watching some stuff that maybe you don't even know much about the movie, and then being part of that first wave of people to see it. These are movies that, except for two or three of them, have not been seen by
Mm-hmm.
anybody
That's the
prior
beauty.
to them premiering at the festival. So it's a fun way to take in movies. I have a couple quick questions for us before we wrap up.
Go ahead.
Uh, James Dolvin asked, "Did either of you actually watch the Amazon South by Southwest thing this past March?" I think you caught some of the movies that were on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon from South by, right?
Yeah, it was glitching a lot, and I think it really broke down to it was like a handful of movies as opposed to what the fest was really going to offer.
Uh, Nile asked if for any horror movie suggestions. I figure we can make this one like Sundance themed, right? Let's talk about maybe some of our favorite Sundance horror movies from the recent memory, because Sundance debuts a lot of great horror. I remember distinctly getting on a Skype call with you to do one of our podcasts and you gushing about Hereditary
Oh my
to me.
goodness, yes. There you go. If you haven't seen Hereditary, if you haven't seen Midsommar, definitely check both of those out. What other festival picks do you have?
I mean, The Witch, I believe, was also a Sundance
Yes.
one. The Babadook is probably my favorite from that whole crop. And maybe this is like a little bit, or I guess we can go with His House, which is on Netflix right now.
Mm-hmm.
Another one from the most recent Sundance. The most horrific movie I can remember seeing at Sundance, maybe not a horror, but The Nightingale, which we have stories about our Sundance experience there. And then shout out to Possessor, which I'm seeing on a lot of people's best of 2020 lists. That was probably the freakiest movie that I saw at the most recent Sundance.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But yeah, again, any other questions that you guys have, we'll be back next Monday to take some of them. Hit us up on Twitter or just down below in the comment section, and we'll be answering your questions. I'm excited for everybody to have Sundance this year. So until
Yeah.
next time, get your tickets, get your popcorn, and enjoy the first Sundance virtual film festival. See you guys later.